Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Polina here, talking to you a little bit about August and the month of intensity, that is Leo, and also there's going to be quite a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of shifts, and in certain people's lives there's going to be some danger as well, because it's going to be a very, very messy and awfully romantic and at times insecure, but also incredibly fruitful month. There is a voluptuous energy. It is voluptuous, it is sensual, it is also a little bit depressing, but it's also very, very opening. It can be karmic for some people, it can be very, very volatile, and in certain cases, people will get grand results and a lot of money, big payouts, and huge, huge changes will come. And as we'll go into Virgo eventually, we'll see quite a lot of systems go into place. We'll see quite a lot of people understanding their life differently, and also hopefully being more optimistic and more epic or wishful in their lives, and not so pushy, maybe just a little brighter. So that's the thing that I'm picking up. Also, have a look at the playlist below. I've decided to make a little playlist of some of my music, and also just a little bit of different bits and bobs there, just to show you guys what I've been up to on the internet, what I've been doing also with my life. So if you'd like, have a look. There should be a playlist below. And also for others that are interested about what this month holds for their particular sign, be it Capricorn, Aquarius, or Leo, have a look at my Patreon channel. The link to my Patreon channel is, of course, in the caption section below. So that means you get a lot more for your month. And also, yes, there are day-by-day reports. So I predict every single day of the week. And yes, there are also special features. So you see all of those interesting things that are happening in the sky for the month and my interpretation of them. Anyway, let's get going with August. So to me, August looks like it's just full of waves. It is full of emotionality. It is full of intellect. It is also full of peace for certain people that don't care anymore. So like, for example, if you're kind of a passive person, you've become very sort of emotional in a more of a passive way. If you really enjoy this kind of voluptuous energy of life, if you sometimes enjoy procrastination, if you just like sit there and just wait for things to happen, that's very pleasureful. So for a passive passerby, or a person that's not really digging their claws into life anymore, who's not stressed out, it's very, very nice. So for example, people that just love shopping online, people that just look at other people, people that enjoy a passive day, might get a lot of pleasure from this particular month, because it's like sitting on a surfboard and these waves are coming, and it's kind of nice to be balanced out by other people. For a lot of people, there's going to be other people doing the work for you. So there's other people plugging you in, other people wanting to pull you into place. Another person's idea might help you. So we're in the rabbit year as well, after all. And that means that groups and conglomerates and different types of cliques and states of friendship can make other people gain something and also lift their spirits. So quite a lot of this month is about enjoyment, and these different energies, or these different frequencies, these different waves are going to balance quite a lot of us out. If you have a certain type of passive, loving, caring, nurturing energy about you, you just enjoy the day sometimes. You don't really ask that many questions, or you don't really care about what happens sometimes, is going to be a very, very wonderful month, because it's going to hold you together, and there's going to be other people making sense, or the forces that be balancing you out. Anyway, if you are a very emotional person, so okay, if you finish the month of the time of Cancer on a very, very philosophical, emotional, neurotic note, that's going to continue probably for some people throughout their lifetime. So I definitely suggest finding a way out of these neurotic, uneconomic, sensitive, and also scared energies. There's going to be quite a lot of scattering for certain people that keep on trying to control things in their life. And there's going to be also a few controlling energies that are after these people. So it's very easy to be in debt, very easy to have karma, very easy to have your hand smacked by somebody else if you have a lot of nervous tension in your body, and if you're keeping also other people at a nervous kind of length. So there is a lot that I said about different types of energetic viruses in my Patreon channel. And I'll say a few things here. So there are people that sometimes have a hectic personality, and they keep on feeling these feelings, and they keep on fighting these internal demons, or they keep on producing certain ideas or philosophies that are very viral at this point. It could be a very viral part of your dream, or very, very viral energy that takes over. And sometimes it's not really anybody's, it's just like people keep on swinging these pendulums of perception. So there's people that are fussing a lot, cooking and cleaning a lot, doing things around the house constantly, biting their nails, feeling fear. Fear for their life, fear for their money, fear for any reason. And I see that also like as kind of like a neurological issue that can sometimes be passed on from parent to child, or it could be just a community that you're living in. And I would definitely start to notice if you are feeling frazzled, if you are living around uncompassionate or saddened or depressed people, if you're constantly at a state of depression, if you are constantly cultivating that fear also in other people, and if you are pulling yourself along a certain narrative that you don't necessarily want to experience or repeat. So that means like how money is made or spent, how businesses are created, how partnerships are I suppose developed, anything like that. This could be very, very painful and a very, very unfruitful time for anybody who's just like hanging on by the skin of their teeth, as they say. And what do I mean by the skin of their teeth? As people that are trying too hard, they're also using very ancient philosophies or outdated ideas, outdated philosophies in terms of like how to get their money, like how to get to where they want to go, how to make the best out of their lives. So a lot of this kind of also predatorism and even community chaos in the community can also sometimes come from just one or two individuals that keep on swinging these pendulums of obsession. And it's really important now to see obsessive personalities, any kind of disorders and disorganizations within the self, and also obsessions with other people's things, other people's money, other people's gains, other people's quantums, other people's qualities. So all of this viral energy has a big issue. So it's kind of like an illness that gets passed on through the timeline from parent to child. It can also be just passed on to you from somebody else. It's a very interesting way that we can sometimes also be forgotten and disconnected from a person's life, or we are not invited, or we're not asked for. And the reason why certain energies are going to be, in a sense, quarantined or not be able to show up for certain reasons is because they need to respect themselves, they need to calm down. So like, for example, I have no idea how like this got shut down, or this got locked up, or why I can't walk past a certain level. And there's going to be certain barriers in your way. I feel if you have a certain sense of self that doesn't necessarily need to get passed on to somebody else, it's like there's also going to be a way that a community or a ground is going to basically filter certain people out of participation. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't give you the ticket. Why? I'm sorry, we just can't do that right now. So if people are also plugging you into a different game, it's like they want you to do more community service. They want you to distance yourself from a certain participation. People are kind of trying to not pull you into their things or into their business, or they're not inviting you to participate. That can be very hurtful during Leo time. They could be one of the worst feelings, understanding that you're being kind of distanced from, and people don't necessarily want to see you in their community, or they don't want to participate with you on a certain project. That's really, really hard. And then there's this feeling like, why are you not sharing? Why are people not sharing with me? And that could be because of a certain type of emotional issue. And there could also be sometimes because people haven't been able to choose you for certain traits or certain energies. It's really, really, really dark when that happens. And sometimes I know that a lot of people have like a huge chip on their shoulder. Also, for example, not being liked or not being treated fairly in high school or university, and not being given the best marks, being kind of like shaded away or asked not to participate. And in certain people's lives, it's just like a never-ending struggle. Why is the world against me? Why did they close down my Etsy account? Or why these people don't care? So the idea basically is not to treat that door in the face as a as like a very, very uncomfortable or bad thing, not to treat those people badly, not to get angry or nasty. The way that I would probably do it today is just to try to find other doors and other spectrums. Every single person needs to be looking at their life as a joy. And Leo, it's important to enjoy. It's important to play the game. It's important to dance the dance, or at least enjoy what is happening around you. As a passive participant, which is very likely for some people during this month. So basically, the whole conglomerate of people that you're working with might be very obvious during this time. So that's another thing. It's very, very obvious if something is not coming to fruition. It's very obvious if somebody is not also peaceful or loving with you. So, for example, having people that want you to fail. Sometimes it happens, and that's been coming up the last couple of months. I've noticed like a certain joy and glee, and even some of my friends when they know that I'm having a hard time. Like, and there's been a big wake-up call to me. So these different joys that people experience when they see another person fail, or when they see something negative happen, that needs to be avoided. Even if that person is super nice, but you might be able to tell when, I can see that there are certain people in my life, or there are certain even environments where people are counting on other people's failures to feel successful. Maybe it's because of a certain competition. Maybe it is because of how a certain type of conglomerate of people works. Sometimes it is not even either of this. It is just like a belief or a trust in a certain demise. You will see certain stories in your life sometimes play out, not because they have got to play out this way, but because everybody believed them to be this way. So there's sometimes communities where there's failure in the marriage, and there's just how life goes in these communities. Sometimes there's communities that are poverty-based or poverty-run, and I'm not talking about necessarily financial poverty, I'm just saying poverty in general. Sometimes there are people that need to feel loss or pain or distance in order to understand that they're living a meaningful adult life. And that's a very interesting thing. Sometimes trauma or hardship gives meaning to certain people, and even whole conglomerates of people sometimes feel very precious about the trauma, and they just keep it going. Keep it going, like, for example, underage pregnancies, no money in the bank, nothing to do all day, sickness, illness, and any kind of diseases. So we basically now have to recognize why we're there if we are there. So this has been quite difficult for me for the past couple of months, basically understanding these different, I suppose, rhythms of time. And if we are in Leo, we're talking about the rhythm of the heart, the rhythm of your life, the rhythm of your body. It's also important to say, like, this is not just about we as a species. It is just about certain types of tribes, cultures, and timelines that are going against the natural current, and that is where sometimes a lot of mistakes happen. So, people that enjoy certain unnatural behavior or unnatural territories, and it just keeps on basically bringing on certain types of narratives that nobody really wanted to ever live through. So we basically have to understand that there is also like a viral or like a continuum energy with these people in conglomerates that keep on keeping on vibrating at a certain level, and we won't be able to get that back. So for example, here, like, it can't give you anything back. So like, also notice for these things that are not giving you something back. For example, you bought something, you can't get your money back, you can't get your time back. And I did also say for a couple of months now that some people might feel incredible lack and incredible demise. And it comes from a vulnerability and knowing that, for example, you've invested into something or somebody that can't give you anything back. It's like your seeds haven't grown, or what has grown in your garden of life has not been the best. And a lot of people sometimes feel it later in years. Oh my gosh, I've wasted my time, or I've wasted my life, or I've given my best years or my best time to something or somebody that's not actually been there for me. And there's a futility there. And this keeps on going around in circles. The best thing that we can basically do is block ourselves from these passages. Like, say, for example, there is somebody that is coming to your house. They're entering your house, and every time they come, they bring a whole keg of beer, or they bring a lot of beers with them, and they basically get on the piss, as they say. And every single time that you're there, you have to experience a person getting drunk in front of you. And that's not to say that this is a bad person. So this is not the individual. It's just like certain behaviors and certain standards of life and certain standards of conduct have to be filtered in rabbit, because it's probably the only chance we'll get now to get really straight and narrow on things. There's a designer's eye, there's a designer's sensibility too, rabbit ear. So if you want to design your life along certain parameters, if you want to experience certain spectrums, if you'd like to be around certain people, you need to kind of consciously design your life to be able to be there, to make it compatible with these energies. So for example, I want to get fit and I want to have that body. So that means I can't just lay around, I can't just visit a friend who always thinks about food. I can't constantly, say, for example, commute with certain people that will destroy or erode my energy. For example, I just want to get on the treadmill, I just want to get fit, I want to try yoga class, I want to try a boxing class, but these other energies are wanting me to go backwards. People are, smoking pot, like sitting around, laying in bed, watching TV. So I think this is also like not a bad feeling. So that's the other face of passivity, I guess. It's just that we really, really need to recognize when we are not wanted to succeed, and we're not also liked for who we are. So that's a very, very amazing time, I think, for quite a lot of people. I suppose, like this particular month, people with Leo suns, moons, or stelliums, or ascendant points will have a really, really good time to start to respect themselves, because it's actually the sign. This particular year is going to be fed incredible confidence and incredible optimism. Quite a lot of people with any Leo, and also people with a lot of Sagittarius probably as well, are going to start to really bring themselves out and unapologetically do what they want to do. And if a door has to be closed, so be it. And it's not necessarily about rejections or closing doors. So I have a lot of Scorpio, so of course I think about that stuff. It's not just about this. There needs to be a really, really deep relationship and a huge amount of juice, zest, and openness given to only those energies that you actually would like to thrive, and also to give it to those people around you that are going to be conducive for your growth. So this is not necessarily like a painting by numbers, kind of like a Sims game, a relationship project. It's not about that at all. It is just about knowing now and not being nervous, and your understanding that there are certain energies, there are certain lives, there are certain also primitive vibrations that are going to solve it for you. It's just mainly about recognizing your journey and recognizing your heart and where you're from and where you want to be eventually and what you really want to do with your life, and maybe centering only on that. And it is very, very hard to fake it this month, which is wonderful. So sometimes people are like, I guess I think I want to make my life about this. Well, I guess I should probably like dedicate my life, I guess, I don't know, like maybe to this. So there are sometimes that, and it happens during Virgo a lot, and Libra. So these signs closer to the DC end of the chart, we're going to have so many people that are wanting to do more and more and more, and care for themselves and be very, very open about where their natural energy wants to be. So it's about cleaning up, recognizing your background, your genetics, understanding how you really do want to present, how you really, really do want to connect, and what you really want to make of yourself. And it really never mattered where you are in life, if you're like 50 or you're 25, it doesn't really matter. It's just about growing that stamina and releasing all these previous concepts that are basically standing in the way, and also allowing other people to grow through whatever they're going to grow through without expecting that one person to simplify your life for you. So this is really hard for certain people, is letting go of the clutches of fear that that person isn't going to support you, or they're not going to give you a ride somewhere. They're not meant to. So this is the hardest thing I think about this month, because there is this incredible friendliness to Leo and the need for every single person to fit in this game. Not that many people probably would, but there are some quantic people. So maybe you've expected all of your friends to be on board. There's only one friend that's on board, but that's a friend that it takes to make things matter. So maybe there is going to be not enough in some ways as we've expected. Like we had other plans, basically. We've expected something different. But there is going to be a definite show of that which actually works. And this is probably like the best time to maybe blog or write this down in your diary just for yourself. What has mattered all this time? Who has mattered? You know, where did you feel you found the growth and that compassion and that fruitfulness? What has been fruitful for you? And also, who are these people that are constantly helping you? What are these spirits or these guides, or maybe even these different conglomerates of people that are after your health, meaning they want you to be healthy. They want to experience you fully. They enjoy when you're laughing. They enjoy when you're smiling. They like you feeling happy. You know, so that's very easy to say, not very easy to find in certain cases. You know, it's like, how do you really know when a person is interested in your happiness and not interested in you being a battery for their game? So I'm going to try and choose the words a little bit wisely this time. We do have Lilith in the sky in Leo in the last few degrees still. It's very strong. And we are going to be passing this month, you know, of course, Venus, that's in retrograde, and we will eventually get to Virgo. There is, and there's like an interplay with Mercury also in the middle there. There is going to be a real like knowledge given to some people as to what they really are here for. Now we have to really see it, and we have to really know it. And it's hard in certain cases, like, I'm like not the best friend, I'm just a therapist to this person. Wow, I'm like a free therapist. I can't talk about me, I can't say nothing about me, I have to just be quiet and gentle and make sure this person's feeling good. You know when that happens. Like, you probably know when that happens. For example, I'm not really like a boyfriend. I'm a service. I'm the person that pays for everything. I'm the person that drives my partner around the place. I'm the person that takes them out for dinner and prepares some kind of plan for their life. I'm a service. I'm not a boyfriend, for example. Here's another one. Okay, for example, I thought all of these friends, all of these incredible people that I met, like on the social media platform, have been like a godsend to me. I felt that they would be an incredible bunch of people. La di da di da. I had high hopes. La la la. Turns out I'm just a plug-in. I'm just a distraction from their life. I'm just a little world that they look into for fun, you know, and they don't care about me. I now understand they don't care about me. I think I'm getting all this attention. I'm not getting attention. I am just a plug-in. So we have to recognize that now. And also it can be the other way. Like, I thought this friend was nothing, but each time they come around, they bring something for tea and they invite me places. And actually, when I think about it, this person has wished nothing but good things for me. You know, or this could be like, for example, another thing. It's like, I've been there around these people and I thought I was kind of like an imposter, like I've got imposter syndrome, for example. But it turns out that these other people that really, really care for me, and every single day I remember them, and we have a message-based interaction, or we remember each other, we still talk. Like, for example, you might have friends from school, from high school, and you're still talking to them, and they're still a great part of your life. That is also something that can happen during this time. So the system is lost or broken, but the relationships and the family ties still exist, or vice versa. There is a system, but there is not enough friendship and family. So how do you know that you're being used, or you are basically an implant in a story? Is when you have nothing of your own, you have to participate on their terms, and you've got to kind of censor yourself or be there for other people. And if you don't show up, you get a big no-no, or you get like points taken off, or, you get a bad mark, if somebody's your mother or your father without biologically being that. And also if people are trying to pull you into a certain role or certain type of dream time that you don't necessarily have to have, waiting for somebody without need, taking public transport, going from place to place, feeling in between, not having your own say, being an in-betweener. If you're in between, that's not a strong heartbeat. So like Leo is about the heart. It's about having a strong heartbeat. It's about having absolute confidence. And how do you know that you got it? It's like, yes, 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 I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm happy about. I know what I'm here practicing. It's a very, very obvious kind of primary color response that we're looking for. And that's not going to be tainted by Lilith. So like, what can I say about Lilith being in a sign where there is sun this month around? So Lilith is always going to be about the other side. It's going to be like, well, we've prepared you a little story, or this is a little repetitive, let's try something else. So Lilith is the alternative. It is also like, not to say that it's an evil energy. It's not about evil. It just likes things not the way that they're meant for a long time. So for example, this could be a partner that you have for only a month. This could be a secret door. It could be a secret partner. This could be a hidden result. It could be very meek sometimes. Lilith is not very strong. It's not about strength, even though it looks like very strong energy, it's not. So like, it hasn't really got that much to show you. It doesn't have that much to give you. It's kind of like being in a partnership with a person who's bored of you all the time, so it has another side and another side and another side. So it's about secrets. It's also about something that's not given ever. It's like, I got something to show you over there, over there, over there. It's like carrot and donkey. So it's like luring people away, imagining things for them, saying beautiful words without really any meaning or respect, and not caring about the outcome. So it is a semi-permanent, it's a semi-permanent energy. It's a semi-permanent relationship that you might have with other people. So if you want, you can hone in on this if you're somebody that is in danger of participating in a very Lilith-based narrative. So what is Lilith-based narratives? For example, you make a lot of money and then you spend everything. You make friends, but they don't care about you. You don't know anybody that you are with. You have sexual experiences or encounters with somebody who doesn't understand who you are, or they've got another partner, or they don't want you to be in the light with them. So they'll never like go out with you and show you to their friends. They will keep you behind closed doors. So it's being like in a secret partnership or like in a sneaky partnership. That's going to really start to get to some people during this time. And it has been a big build up to it. There's been quite a lot of questions as to what are you really participating in. And also many people that are living Lilith-based lives that could be about addiction, about hidden behaviors, about secrecy, and about impracticality. They can sometimes get to know themselves only little during this time. So like the orgasm is more meaningful than what is actually happening in one's life. Or like the amount of money one can make from a certain type of project is more interesting than what the project actually represents, or the fidelity of this project. For example, the impression that you make on certain people is more important than what it actually is, and the root system, and what's actually happening in the roots. So it's very, very important for some of us to close the door on Lilith and Lilith-based behavior. So that means that some people have to really, really weed out the parasites in their life. Lilith can also sometimes, from a health perspective, mean parasites in the body. So we have to understand, okay, where people just have a lot of gut issues, they have a lot of biological issues. Luckily, sensitivity is not a big point during this particular month because Leo doesn't really care for it. It's just about like a huge sweep through, and sometimes a mega purge or cleanse, or just like a huge understanding or like a real rage can actually clear quite a lot of things from the body. And you can actually also tell like people that usually experience bouts of pain or hardship or aggression, or just deliver aggressive behavior or deliver aggressive words. Sometimes they're trying to get rid of something that is going on in their life or inside their body. So like a big time aggression is a sign of toxicity, of course, and many people are just trying to basically fire at that which is inside of them, usually, like for example having worms in the bowels, that's a classic thing. A lot of very irritable people just have certain types of parasites that they're wishing to purge. And your mind, this is a little bit too graphic and too much for an astrology based audience. Let's go back to astrology. So let's go back to what happens at the end of the month. Okay, so at the end of the month, basically, we're going into Virgo, and it's going to be legit, it's going to be right. There's going to be, retrograde Mercury, but Mercury nonetheless in Virgo for all of August here, and probably quite a large part of September. So it's going to be like a very, very nice relationship that a lot of people will have to build with themselves and one another to be able to handle the certainty that Mercurial Virgo is going to give during 2023. So basically what I'm saying is there are very, very big wake-up calls and need for crispness. And also, yes, Jupiter is heading towards Uranus, that is at a trine to Pluto, and it's going to, of course, be at a trine to Mars. It is a very, very, very hard thing to do, maybe what you're trying to do. Maybe it's a very, very heavy burden or heavy vibration that you want to lift. So we have to have all bases covered. It's kind of like an airport, or it's like launching a rocket. You got to have everything covered. There is no room for mistakes in certain people's lives. And it has to be exact to be able to fit through a door. So for example, you are making classical music, it has to be exactly that, and that's it. You can't do anything else. You can't do rock and roll, you can't do punk, you can't do nothing. You've got to really, really base it on the most classical outcomes and incomes. So for example, if you are doing anything with anybody, if you are making a brand, if you're making anything, it's going to be very, 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 very good. And only things that are very good, very perfect, and very well placed and organized are going to probably last the Virgo month. So what I'm saying is that it's like cutting things down to a minimum. If you have a design degree or many different degrees, ask for this. You have to get to a very certain state of precision, and then this precision is what is going to eventually travel with you for many, 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 many years or even centuries. So this is like about cooking things to perfection. This is about getting the best results. This is about getting the most certain or the most precious outcomes, and not many people can get there. Not that many people also would, because they have so much rubbish in the way. So for example, people that are smokers, heavy smokers, they wouldn't be able to understand, people that are talking about rubbish, people are participating in rubbish cultures or rubbish energies, they won't be able to be sensitive enough for it. So it's just a certain feeling, it's like a certain outcome of a story that's like, this is a perfect photograph, for example, or this is the perfect idea, or the way this looks or the way this matches is exact. So that exactness is probably all we've got. So this is like sports car stuff. This is about streamlining things. So inevitably what Virgo is going to be asking for, and we do have Mars in Virgo, great, this month, and he's quite close to Mercury there as well. And as I said earlier, Mercury is going to be dawdling around Virgo for a while. So Mercury likes Virgo, they're happy together, but like it is not just about what you think would kind of be all right. It's not so, she'll be right. It's not she'll be right. It's a very like surface-based energy. And maybe for some people it is a little bit too conservative, or it is a little bit too cruel or too frugal. But then at the end, this is what it takes. Like, okay, so this is what it takes to make a multi-million-dollar career. You know, this is what it takes to make the best impression. This is what it always took. You know, but not everybody likes that. So people are like, who cares? So these who cares people are going to have to go somewhere else. You know, so you can't have them in the game. And that's a really, really big part of rabbit here. So people husk from grain, people get filtered. There are certain, yeah, sure, class systems, there's certain societies, there's certain parts of the world where that's really obvious now. There is a system, there is like almost gradation, there's difference, a separation. And there's also respect given to people that can hold something. Like, say, that person can hold that note. Or like, for example, this violinist can perform on a very high level, you know. It's about having high intimacy. Oh, intimacy. No, like high intimacy, like say with your musical instrument. Having high recognition, having a very, very sincere obviousness to what you're doing. So like, for example, you are working with clay, you know, I don't know, you are making weavings, or you're speaking certain words, there is a definite sense of style, taste, and meter, and also affordability. So it has to match on every single level. So if you're making a brand or a business, it has to be multi-level matched. You know, you have to get a really good professional to do that which you want to have done. It can't just be kind of like willy-nilly. It is not a willy-nilly type of tribe, you know. So not many people know this, but like quite a lot of us in some way are trying to associate to something that is very, very human, but at the same time very surreal. Many people are building their life out of a dream state in connection to their very, very human and very, very awesome, yeah, body, or their really, really obvious, awesome human life. So we all kind of wish for a certain feeling of inspiration and joy and clarity and perfection. So even if, you know, a person sitting there seriously in the gutters, they're still going to have that about them. So not many people want it, not many people care, but like there is not a person on earth that has no ideologies, or that has no sense of intimacy with what they believe is great. So each one of us is looking for that sense of that sparkle. Even those people that look like they don't care. Then it's just about how to get there. And it's just about kind of like building yourself a vehicle, going through a course of study or a relationship, or claiming your space or reclaiming your spaces in order to be able to be there in that game. So to be able to pass through all these windows and doors that rabbit ear will always have for you, and just to grow into this which you've always kind of innocently wished for. So it's about innocence, it's about the gaze of a child, it's about a relationship that you might not be able to master unless you're open, you know. And inevitably, basically, there's going to bring incredible purity and incredible also sense of wisdom, and yeah, and some people's sense of control, as we're going to be going through another shadow sign that is Virgo. So anyway, thank you so much, you guys. I hope this has been helpful. Yes, and if you like, yeah, have a look at the videos here, and also in the section, what is this, caption section, yeah, for the details that might be necessary for some. Thank you so much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.